Welcome to Coffee and Gumbo, where we talk about all things hot, spicy, and flavorful.
What's up? What's up? Coffee and
What's up,
Gumbo.
What's up, CNG fam?
We are
What?
back once again.
Well, we're back.
Blessed
It's
to be
us.
back. Yes. We hope all of you are having an awesome week. We are so excited that it is Father's Day weekend coming up.
Yes, I am
And
too.
just like we celebrated the wonderful mothers out there, and I was able to bring my wonderful mom to the show, we now want to switch that over. We want to cover all sides of the spectrum here. So now we need to give these fathers some attention, time, and love. How about that, Stacey?
Oh, I love it. I love it. You know me. I'm an advocate
Yes.
for showing some love to the guys out there. You know, I know a lot of times guys don't feel like they appreciate it. You know, I've heard many times this week. We roll out the red carpet for the women on Mother's Day, and all we do is barbecue we got to cook for ourselves on Father's Day. You know, but I just think that it's all within a man's persona, you know, because men are used to just being able to do for everybody.
Right.
So, I mean, I just think that, you know, that's something that they enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. But anyways, we just want to show y'all some love as well and know that so that y'all will know you're not forgotten.
Yeah, they're the backbone, you know? They're the
They're the
backbone.
foundation.
They are it. And so we want to uplift
Yes.
all the fathers out there, young, in the middle, retired.
And not only
never retired from being
fathers,
a dad, but the ones that have the grown children, because you never, being a parent never stops. Never stops.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So we're gonna get this show started. Stacey, you want to kind of give a intro to our wonderful guest for today?
Yes. So our guest for today is somebody that's very near and dear to me. His father is a father figure to me. And so we kind of share that aspect. He's very near and dear to our hearts, and his father has played a very, very, very important role in our lives. So let me introduce my brother, my hometown hero. He is a youth football, track, and boxing coach in Jacksonville, Florida for middle school kids. And he also heads a character development program as well as a mentorship program. So CNG fam, let's help me welcome my brother, Mr. Joseph Delaune, to the show.
Welcome, sir. Welcome.
All right. Welcome
to the CNG podcast, Coffee and Gumbo family. We have an awesome guest, as Stacey just introduced him, father of 3 sons, if I'm correct. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. Well, we want to dig into your psyche a bit on fatherhood, but we also want to take a few minutes and celebrate you as a father out there. Sometimes, as Stacey mentioned, the dads don't get the same level of love as the mothers.
Yes.
So we want to take this time to celebrate you and in turn celebrate all of the fathers out there. So we have quite a few questions we want to dig into with you today and just have a good conversation.
Awesome.
But first, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
First, I want to say happy Father's Day to all of them fathers out there. Take advantage of this time. I think it's a good time. We're starting to represent and really focus on fatherhood. I think It's a great time. I like what Catrice and Stacey, I love what you guys are doing, because it need to be seen and heard. You know, fathers need to be led and guided sometimes. We don't know. So thanks for that. Thanks for introducing me and inviting me over to the CNG podcast. I appreciate it. I'm out of my comfort zone, but you know, we're going to flow with it. We're going to flow with it. I'm originally from Louisiana, Franklin, Louisiana. Katy to be exact. Now let's go. Let's keep that 100. Definitely graduated, you know, Franklin Senior High. I went to the military, did 20 years. In my 20 years, I came across a lot, you know. Right now, I teach and I coach football, boxing, and track at the middle school. Have three beautiful sons. Thank God for them. And I strived. I knew what fatherhood was, you know, meant to me. My father, you know, the impact that he had on my life. So the things that he did with me is a lot of things that I'm doing here in this area with these young men. Not just my kids. You know, I'm being a blessing to you know the neighborhood kids. You know, working, doing my part for our future. So that's a big thing that I do now here in this area. I'm pretty much known a lot, you know, for doing a lot and helping a lot of young men and ladies as well in this area. Sometimes I'll be feeling so bad because I'm like, man, the things that I'm doing here in Florida, man, I really wish I could get home, man, and back in Louisiana, Franklin, St. Mary Parish, and you know what I'm saying, and be a you know impact that way as well. But maybe this will help a little bit as well. So thank y'all.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
I do
You
too.
kind of touched on one of my questions I had right there was when you said that, you know, you took a lot from your, you know, from your dad and how you were raised.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't mind, I'd like to start off by just asking you, what were some of the things that you took from your parents and repeated that, you know, with your tribe?
Oh man, it was quite a few things with my mom and my father. They first of all, I'm gonna tell you this. They worked. You know, my parents were separated. I think I was like 4 years old and stuff. So you know, usually 9 times out of 10, be honest with you, usually when you have that separation like that, you have you know between the father and the mother, it's a little difficult, you know, for whatever reason. But I just thank God it was a blessing that my father and my mother they worked together. You know, one didn't try to outdo the other. Me and my brother we used to try to get over so much, man, but we didn't know that they was basically back there talking on the phone at 9, 10 o'clock at night. You know, we think we getting over. Hey, we're gonna go to daddy, so we want to go to this because mom not gonna let us go and this. But they was communicating, and that really kept us out of a lot of stuff. So really, that's one thing I know. My parents, my daddy, even though sometimes he didn't agree, I know he didn't agree with. You know, mothers. You know, like I said, mothers are basically in the Bible it says mothers are nurturers, you know, supporters and guru relationships. Men form identity. So I love the fact that my father understood that side coming from my mother where she wouldn't understand certain things, you know, and he was able to not come in and tell us, hey son, your mama say this and this. No, he was like, hey son, your mother and I decided that we're going to do this and do that. And that did so by him doing that, that played a big role on us having ultimate respect for both of them and not praying one against the other. So
That is powerful. You
yes,
know,
That
ma'am.
is
I think that's
awesome.
powerful because that really shows people you don't have to be married or even a
No,
couple to be in alignment when it comes
yes,
to how you're going to parent your children. I
absolutely.
think a lot of people need to hear that because I think
Yeah,
that's
that's
what you see a
that's
lot.
the basis right there, the
Wow,
Mhm.
foundation.
that's
Yeah,
great. That is great.
yeah. That is awesome.
You know? And
And you know, like I said in the introduction, your father is very important to me. Like he's like a second
absolutely.
dad to me. My son's godfather. You know, so and I still remember, you know, my son still remembers him in the times that the things that he's done with him, the times that he's taken with him as
Mhm.
well. So are there any traditions that you've taken from him that you find yourself um doing with your kids as well?
First of all, you know, Stacey, I want to tell you, man, you just don't even know how much I appreciate you and D, man, and your family for how much y'all look out for my pops when I'm not there. You know, I'm way here in Jacksonville, 10 and a half hours away. I want to always tell you that, man. I really appreciate that. That, you know, really, it means a lot. As far as the traditions, it's just so much. I'm serious. You know, it would take, I mean, like 2 or 3 of these podcasts. I'm just keeping it 100, you know, and not to just elaborate on one thing so long. But let me see. Um, I can take this. My father, he spent a lot of time with us, you know. Um, I have, and I guess you can say that's a tradition. I guess I
Mhm.
don't know, you know. Um, he didn't even, you know, a lot of times, like right now, especially at home in Louisiana, you know, I'm gonna give you a scenario. You probably have seen this. Man, a lot of the guys, you know, like 60% of them work offshore, you know. And I remember when I would come home on leave or vacation, you know, we go to the club or whatever. When I come home to see everybody, basically, you know, and you got these boys, they come offshore and man, they buying drinks they got all this money, they buying drinks for everybody in the club, showing their money. And then the kids, and I've seen this in my family, and my cousins, they're like, the kids are happy to see them, and they just want to go out and buy them the new Jordans and the Francis Mary Jabos and the polos and all this other stuff. And then they're gone. They are in the streets, you know? So one thing that my dad that I got from him traditionally is he spent time, you know what I'm saying? It's a difference, you know, from providing over your presence. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I've seen a lot of my people, they rewarded their kids with presents instead of their presence. You follow what I'm saying? So
Right.
they remind, you know, they'd come in and buy them all of the Jordans, and that just freed them up, you know what I'm saying, to go do what they want to do. And they didn't give those kids the time. And I'm
Yeah.
serious. I don't want to call no names. I can give you so many scenarios where the basis, that foundation that they made, my little cousins, them are going through it. And that's going to be a generational thing that they're going to be doing over and over. So it's very important. That's why I wanted to at least say that one. You
Mhm.
know, blessing the tradition that one of the many traditions that I'm taking from my pops is, you know, blessing my kids with not just presents and gifts, but my actual presence. And you know what I'm saying, just that time that they need to see, you know, how to handle adversity. And you're staying with mom in the house all day. You know how y'all, I want to go over that, but you know how mothers are more of emotional beings. You
Right.
follow me? And
Right.
so you're going to react more if you think about your grandfathers and stuff like that. You think we don't care. We just cool, calm. You know, they're not bothered with the grandma's like, baby, what we gonna do? And you know, and men need to see men handle business like that. You know,
Right.
not
Yeah.
get uptight. You crying in the bed with your wife, and instead of like, hey, baby, listen. This is what we're gonna do. This, you know, we understand it like this, and that's what my dad did. You know, he did
Yeah.
things like that. You know,
I
he
Yeah.
like
didn't
that.
hide
I
things.
really like that. Presence over presence.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Presence
And at a
over
Present.
presence.
core, most
Yes,
of the time, that's what the kids want. They want your presence. Now they gonna take
absolutely.
they want your presence, but they
Yeah.
take the
Yeah.
presents
Yeah.
instead. But it
Yes,
Yeah.
doesn't
ma'am.
necessarily give them
Hmm.
what they really wanted. They really
And
want
Hmm.
time.
that's kind
You
of
know?
what I talked about at Mother's Day. That was my thing in Mother's Day. I said, make sure that you spend time with your kids because
Mhm.
those are the things that they're gonna remember. They're gonna have memories and they're gonna remember the things that you did with them, the times that you spent with them. You know, them presents gonna get old and they're gonna break and they're
Mhm.
gonna throw them away, but they gonna always have those memories.
Absolutely.
And you
Hmm.
talked about the generational, breaking that generational thing, you know, from your father doing that, he passed it down to you. Now your sons are gonna pick that up and
Hmm.
pass that down to their family. So that's
Mhm.
awesome. That is awesome. So we had my mom on for Mother's Day, and I'm one of 4 girls. So she only had girls to raise. I would love to hear, what is it like raising 3 boys?
Oh my. Oh my. Um, I don't have any girls, so you know and I'm always at first I'm serious. You get what you ask for. You understand what I'm saying? Like I used to always say like I want all boys because I was into sports and stuff like that. So I was like, man, I want all boys, And as I got older and I started paying attention to detail, and I'm like, some of my people get old, and I'm like, who are the people that's taking care of the elderly in my family? It's not them boys. It's not them boys, them ladies, them daughters. I'm like, oh my God, boy, I'm in trouble. I want a daughter. Let me get some godchildren or something. Um,
Some good
but
daughter-in-laws is what you're gonna
yes,
need.
man. I'm like,
Yes,
oh my gosh, let me
yes.
adopt or something for real. I'm like, because we all get old. So, but
Mhm.
to answer your question, what is like raising my boys? It's awesome. It's really awesome. I think with me, I went to what started with me was, I really enjoyed myself before I had my kids. You follow what I'm saying? Um, so when I had my first son, Jamal, all my boys and stuff like that, like my people that I graduated with my age, just like, boy, you started late. By the time I had my first one, they had their kids was going to high school. You
Wow.
know, and so it was like man, you can say what you want to say. The things I put it like this. This is how impactful it was. When I retired out of the Navy, I had an opportunity to go and work on a base and make a lot, like right starting off at like about $75,000 a year, and but I chose
Back
to
then, that
go.
was a lot of money.
Yes, that was back then. That's a lot of money. I know, even still today, it's a lot of money, but that was a while ago. And instead, I chose to go into the school board system, and only I made that decision because my thoughts were, when my kids are off, I'm off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When they're on the holidays, I can visit with my whole family. I don't have a lot of times the dad can't go because he got to work. They going back home, and I'm like, nah, not me. We all going. Um, yeah, definitely. And on top of that, for the summer times, I'm off. I have the entire summer. I didn't go. I don't go. Like right now, we're in the summer. And for years, and I'm telling you, this is very important, very important. Um, in the summer, I look at it as if your kids are going to school. They're learning so many different things from all these different students and kids from different backgrounds, cultures, the way they brought up, some, raising themselves. And they get all of these things. So I leverage the summer, I leverage the summer to get to my boys mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. So we have when I tell you we have a planned out itinerary for our summer. We have fun. You know what I'm saying? I mentor them. We get in the word every day. They play their video games. We go places. We do things. We read. I take them to trips. We do a lot. So the summer. I mean, this just go in hand on what you asked me. You asked me, about raising my boys, and
Mhm.
this is one thing that I do with them, like for the summer. I really get with them and mind, body, and soul, emotionally, spiritually, everything. We cover
Right.
every ground. So when August come, they're getting ready they go back to school, that we powered up. Even myself, we ready to go.
Yeah. It's like
Hmm.
you're using that time to really check in with them and make sure you know where they are in all
Absolutely.
areas of life.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
It's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. What do you think has been the biggest challenge in being a father?
It's the biggest challenge. It's a few on this one. I think um for me, and I'm gonna say this, I don't know how it's gonna sit. The biggest challenge is, I made a decision, and we everything with every decision we make in life is a consequence. It's a benefit, and my decision was I had kids out of wedlock. I had my boys out of wedlock, you know. And one thing about having kids out of wedlock, you know, no matter how great of a father you are, how many, I can have 1,000 people tell me, cool, Joe, man, I've never seen nobody go as hard and deep for these children and like you do. Well, still, on the other end with their mother, for whatever reason, which we know some of the reasons that mothers have that. You don't have that. I can say, what can I say? That total respect for who you are, what you bring to the table for your children. You know, and I think I say the question was about the hardest, the toughest thing, right? And that to me, man, that right there was probably the toughest. My
Mhm.
kids, at the beginning for me, my son's mother not understanding where I was coming from and how important it was for my son to be a lot more around me, so to say. And I wasn't the type to like want to be a dictator or anything, but because if I felt that my kids were getting the things that I'm trying to instill in them at his mother's place or whatever, I wouldn't even what I'm saying, try to fight it or whatever. But as a caring father, for your children, and knowing that, what I'm saying, men, we form identity in children. And that's in the word. Like I said before, women are nurturers and supporters and guru relationships. That's in the word. And the Bible says, men, we form identity. So I think, to me, that part right there, to me, was the toughest. Having to take my emotions out of it, when they're not understanding, and their significant other is not understanding. That was real, real difficult, and stuff like that. But as I got older and wiser, I was able to, understand that, what, Joe, God holds men responsible for every relationship with a woman. And I always wondered why, but when I read that and understood that, I'm like, you know what, Joe, you're gonna have to be the bigger, better person. You can't, just because you feel that that's the craziest idea you ever heard come from somebody's mouth. You sometimes need to be able to play that without emotions. And so when I
Right.
started to respond to my kids' mothers without emotion and understand, watch this, and understand that what she's made of, God says in the Bible, nurturers and supporters. So I had to understand that she coming from a nurturing and supportive perspective, vice me. I'm coming from, we form identity, and stuff. So quick scenario, and I'm gonna move on. Quick scenario for Christmas one time, right? So
Mhm.
my Jaden, my middle son, he was I was just playing a little trick on him. So I put all his presents in the garage, act like, because my dad used to do that to us all the time, and act like we ain't getting anything too much. So they opened up a present for him, and somebody had bought him one of those little $8 little bow arrows with the little arrow that sticks to the ground, sticks to the
Yeah.
wall when you shoot it, right?
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, yay! We all like, yay! And he's terribly spoiled. And so I didn't pay attention to it. So his little brother opened up some gifts, some nice stuff. And his brother went to say, Jaden, hey, man. And he wanted to share it with him and to play with him. And Jaden was like, I know it's he like, like an attitude, right? So I'm like, Jay, what's going on? So he had an attitude. I'm like, I said, hey, come on, step in the back with me, right? So I said, hey, Jaden, I said, hey, bro, I said, man, what's wrong? Daddy, suddenly he's whining, like, I'm like, so I just took my hand, I just popped him on. I like, boy, what's wrong with you? Cause he's like, Daddy. And so I said, man, so I popped him on his butt. I said, man, calm down. I said, first of all, son, I said, you have to show appreciation for anything somebody gives you. You never know what's going to come from that. You know what I'm saying? I said, you never know. This person bought you a $5 present. You're right. You don't know what's going to, if you just show appreciation, you never know how God is going to bless you. Show appreciation for the small things. So I'm trying to teach him that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the phone rings. Guess who it is? He's crying on Christmas Day. It's his mom. Hey,
Oh, you in
I
trouble?
called to see how Jaden is doing. How is he doing? I'm just calling him a baby. And I said, and he's on the phone. I'm listening, and I'm spoiled too. I'm ready. I already know what time it is. He's like, my daddy popped me on my butt, right? And I heard her say, let me talk to your daddy. Right. So me, now the mature me, now the older me would have been fussing, right? But because I understand, watch this, go back to what I said. But because I understand that she's coming from a what? A supporting, nurturing, right? And I'm what we form identity. So when she came on the phone, I understood she sounded just like him. But Joseph, it's Christmas Day and my baby is crying, and I'm like, I was able to calm down, you know what I'm saying? And this is how I did. I said, you know what? I said, Jaden, listen, son, daddy apologized for popping you on your butt, right? But still, whenever somebody gives you something, man, I don't care what it is, how valuable you see it, man, you got to always show appreciation. You never know how God is going to bless you. You feel me? So right then, I just gave you an example of when I was able to, that hard part of my life with raising my boys, how when I understood what God said about us and how we're formed and everything, how I could have took that situation and could have been worse, could have messed up everybody's Christmas. But because the way I understood what dialect, where she's coming from, I was able to handle that situation, and my son learned, and we had a great time. So,
Yeah.
And
That was
you taught the lesson.
Yes, absolutely. To everybody, all three of us.
awesome.
That leads me to a question of, what would you do differently if you got a chance to go back and think about things before the first child was born, thinking over everything that you've done? Is there any one thing that you could say you would do differently, or do you feel like all in all you would do it the same way?
Whew, boy. I feel it's crazy because I feel good on both sides, because if I can all in all do it again, the results I'm getting from my kids, and you know, and the results not only I'm getting from my kids, but I was able to, to God be the glory for everything I do and accomplish. But just the things I was able to do for so many young men and young ladies here. Some of these kids were supposed to be going to alternative schools, put on medicine and stuff like that. But they came into my program, and I mean, I could tell you success story after success story on that end. So in that case, I'll say I would do it all over again. But it was a lot of work. But but in reality, God says do everything decent and in order. For me, having kids out of wedlock was a big one. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, I still have things that I have to deal with because of that. So if I can say it all over, I can do it all over again. Making a decision, man, to be married, and have my kids, being married, I would think yes, that would be it.
So for me, the big question for me is, can you talk about the importance of being a father? Because we got a lot of people out here, they have kids, and then, like you said, you had kids out of wedlock. And, think you got all kind of situations out here. You got females that don't want the daddies to see the kids. You got daddies that feel like, they don't want to help support the kids financially because they don't want to give money to the mom, or whatever. They got a lot of situations going on out, different situations going on out here. But the bottom line is, it doesn't matter. You're still a father, at the end of the day. So can you talk about the importance of being a father and those kind of situations, the impact that it has on kids?
Okay. One thing I've learned, is I've learned that a lot of times in relationships, that we get into, our mindset is like for instance, a woman and a man getting together and they don't get along for whatever reasons. And I always say that just because a man or father he's not a good husband or a good fiance or boyfriend or whatever, that doesn't mean he's going to be a bad parent as well. You follow me? So we don't look at it like that. Sometimes we get caught up in that person or what he's bringing, what he's doing for me. You know what I'm saying? And what he means to me. He may be a cheater or this or take you down or whatever, but that doesn't, I don't think that should qualify him. I'm sorry. Doesn't give, I think he doesn't deserve, I think he should be looked at as a whole new different perspective as far as the fathering part. You follow what I'm saying? To give him a chance to be a father. Because in the end, the kids pay. But to answer your question directly, I think the thing that's most impactful is men understanding, their role, understanding their power, and also women. A little analogy that I always like to use sometimes for my kids, to understanding the kids I come across, and some of the mothers. right? And I look at the father is the root. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, and in the Bible it says, God used, I say he only man came from the ground, women came from the man, right? So to me, that leads to let me know that the father is the foundation for it all. They say, no, the man is not standing and not supposed to be in the front. No, he's behind, he's at the bottom, he's holding everybody up. He's the foundation. And because of that, I look at a plant. A plant as the root. The root controls. The root is a sustainer. It keeps the plant or whatever from blowing away. It's a nourisher. And this is, to me, signifies a father's responsibility. And that's why I'm looking at the father's um his responsibility, so to say, like the same responsibility that the root has for the plant. You know, I look at the mother as she's that stem. The father is that root and stuff like that. The root, it provides so much nourishment, and what I'm saying, without that root and that foundation, that stability holding you together, that's where I think we falling apart. Even today, the main cause of the things that we're dealing with in the world today is because we're living in a fatherless, scenario, generation. So,
Totally
and
agree.
saying that, it goes back to, watch this. I always thought, like, man, and there's nothing against our leaders. We just, God in the Bible, it says we need to pray for them. We don't talk about them or anything like that. We pray for them. But I've always wondered, like, man, if I just read and understand, and I'm using these logics in my life, and I see where it's working. You can believe it or not, but I know what's working for me, and that's what I'm gonna tell everybody, what's working for me. But if these things are working, why isn't it not being taught or to our young men? Why we another we definitely need it. We have battered women's shelters. We have shelters and all types of billions of dollars taken into programs for homeless children and everything. But I always ask, if men are the root and you really want to change and help our economy, help us all around, why we don't have these types of foundations for men? Because a lot of times I was just blessed, and I thank God for it, that I had a father that cared and taught us.
Yeah.
Everybody don't have, they're not born like that. So I think, the key, that's why I started doing what I'm doing, is to have some things in place to help these fathers, to help these teens and even the elderly guys to understand, who they are. Just like like I said, you have all types of programs into the battered women's programs and everything, right? I think we should have an equal energy towards helping these young men and learning
Yeah.
how to be a father. So
Yeah.
And what would you say for someone that does not have any kind of positive, any kind of father figures in their life? Like maybe they don't have the uncles, their father's not around. They
hmm
don't have the brothers. They don't have any kind of male positive figures. So to me, that turns into a fatherless society, a fatherless, image for that person. So
right.
where do you think they can go from there?
It's I'm gonna give you an example. A lot, I hear people. I got on one of my brothers about this one time. And our parents, nobody is perfect, and they was using a situation to say, well, shoes, this and this. I said, boy, I snapped. You know what I'm saying? I said, when you know better, you do better. You follow what I'm saying? I was like, you can't use. I would, the young men that come to me that have kids, I'm like, nah, you can't use that because, bro, my daddy ain't hug on me. I didn't have this, or I didn't have that. I say, if you are knowledgeable enough to understand that, then you should go places to try to understand and just try to do better. And to answer your question directly, it's many things. It's social media. We're living in an informational era, and it's easy to go. Man, you just go on YouTube and type fathers, or go to the Books a Million, Barnes and Noble, get a book, Fatherhood, and just read and pick and choose. You know what I'm saying? Let your conscious your spirit lead and guide and direct you. Whatever you get from books or information, I think that's a good small basis to start from. Just start, look for the information. YouTube, Instagram, type it in anywhere, you'll be able to find things. And also, and just to tell, for me, even in Matthew 5 in the Bible, it tells you, they're going to be, you're going to have fathers that take the wrong road, or don't have examples or whatever lead by. God says, when your earthly father fails you, you come, what I'm saying? You have me. So get on your knees. I hate to be, I don't hate to be, but I know some people may feel a certain way, but this is just me. I know what works for me. I know what I've seen work for so many others that I come across and stuff like that. So to me, if you don't have that father figure, man, you get on your knees and build your relationship, what I'm saying, with God. And I promise you, when you want it bad enough, you really want to be a good father bad enough, you're going to get it. He's going to send you people and things to be able to lead and guide and direct you.
It's almost like you need to create something out of nothing, of what you don't have. But like what you said, everybody got a father. It just may not be that physical father.
Yes, I mean, it's no, seriously that,
Yeah.
and not just that, but Stacey had asked me, what can these young men do?
Uh-huh.
And that's a real good question, because a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
These young men, they don't know, So some of the information I got, the stuff I get and learn, is from reading books.
Right.
Looking at YouTube. You want to read, look at the videos. You can instantly become who you want to be within 15 minutes. You could change your life just from a little information. 5 minutes on YouTube, Instagram. It's crazy. I really think they really don't have no excuse. If you really want it, I have some people right now that I just introduced. I used, for instance, I had a kid that was real good in sports and everything, and he was like, he couldn't get math. This boy was making A's and B's. His mama was on him. He said, Coach, I just can't get it. I don't understand it, Blasi Blue, right? And to this, as a matter of fact, he's getting ready to leave and go to got a D1 scholarship, just graduated, everything, right? And I never forget, I had him in my truck and I went pick him up, and he was from Louisiana, so his mom was like, Coach, he's not doing this and he's not doing that. Over one thing, this boy got A's and B's, but he couldn't get that algebra, that math. And I never forget, we riding in the car, and I said, hey man, I said, oh real. I said, man, open up your phone, go to YouTube. I said, what are you doing in math? What you can get, right? And he says something about rational proportions. I can't remember exactly what it was, right? Irrational proportions. I said, man, type that in Google, right? And YouTube. I say, find a video. Find one that look like, with all type of things on it that look like it's nursery kindergarten. I say, and listen to it for about 5 to 10 minutes, right? So I'm driving. I'll never forget when I turned into going into, to my house. I just looked to the side, right? He had tears coming down his eyes, right?
Wow.
And I'm like, and so I pulled in. I'm like, bro. I said, what? I said, man, what's wrong with you? What's going on? He said, Coach Joe, I understand it. You know what I'm saying? So I said that to say this. That kid watched a video. He's been I think he was probably like 11 years old. Never was good at math. Within 10 minutes of a video, he was able to understand and find out what he was missing, that in 3 or 4 years of school, sitting in a classroom, he never understood. So that's why I say, so I say, to answer that question, if you don't have a father figure or somebody to look up, it's different. It's definitely things that if you really want it, it's no excuse. You can find the information.
Mm-hmm. And it just took you or somebody else to just push him to just say, hey, go do this, because somebody he may not even had anybody to tell him or to put that in he probably never even thought to go to YouTube. But just for you giving him, just by you giving him just that little bit of nudge or that little push to say, hey, go to YouTube. That was the little nudge that he needed.
Yes, ma'am.
They call it YouTube University.
Right.
For real.
Right. So what do you think is the biggest impact you've had as a father on your kids or even other kids like you just talked about?
The biggest impact for me, for my kids, oh my gosh. I hate to generalize it like this, but man, just being a example, leading them by example, not telling them one thing and I'm doing something else, In the Bible, what he say in the Bible? He say, mothers and fathers, do not provoke your children, And my kids, they hit me with this all the time. So we did a Bible study and I told them this, right? And I explained to them what provoking was. And I didn't understand what it was, but provoking, I understood it now is like, right, you telling them, stop all that cursing in the back room or don't curse, but then you rolling through the house when you mad or emotional and you cursing. You know what I'm saying? So that's provoking. So I think the biggest thing I've done, one of the biggest things I've done is it helped me to understand that, hey, Joe, you can't do this. You have parents that smoke and drink and go out or whatever. Nothing wrong with that. I don't know. But you, it's provoking. If you want your kids to do this and you don't want your kids to do certain things in life, but you're still doing them and expect them to not to do it, it's kind of, what I'm saying, you're going to have to answer to God for that. I really believe that because he said it in the word, don't provoke them and stuff. So I think one thing that, I think that's answering your question, I'm not sure, is that I'm able to lead by example with my boys, so that made me, I'm serious, that made me hawk down on some stuff, that made me, and my baby boy always hit me, say, Daddy, that's provoking. I'm like, this boy, Daddy, that's provoking. You can't, you told us, but you know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh my God. So to me, that was very, because now they're going to do the same thing with their kids, and that's going to make them not do things that they probably shouldn't have been doing. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I got to be a role model for my children. I can't say this. And, so I think that was just one, thing I think, as far as like being a better role model and leading by example.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one.
Well, I know time is flying by and I have about 15 more questions I want to ask, but I'm going to give you two and then let you kind of go for it. So I would just want to ask, what's your dream for your sons? If you could, look down into the future and say, this is what I want for them. I would love to hear that. And then I would love for us to give you some time to say thank you to maybe your dad and then any other fathers that you feel like made an impact on you.
So you say the first question is
what's your dream for your sons?
My dream for my kids, for me, is that they take the things that I've been able to do with them and taught them, and take that like I did with my father. My father was only able to do so much with what he had. You follow me? Mm-hmm. And I told my brothers this, I was like, I had one brother that, but I'm getting out of the subject, but I told him, I said, one thing about it, when we're dead and gone, people are going to say, how did you live? What did you remember? All of the material things you had is, it doesn't mean anything. My mother passed away. All of those shoes and those clothes and all that stuff that she had was given away. The things that said is the memories, the things that I remember her, doing with her and stuff. So I think, with my father, if I could ask you all right now, for example, I'll say, hey, Catrice, if I ask you, I say, hey, what was your mother's name? Your mother's name. I say, hey, Catrice, what is, Stacy, what was your grandmother's name? Your grandmother's name, right? But then when I start to roll over and start saying, hey, Catrice, Stacy, what was your great grandmother's name? What was your great mother's name? You start to fall off.
Mm-hmm.
We forget them. And to me, it's a shame because I'm pretty sure your great grandmother and your great great grandmother had much more sacrifice than your grandmother and your mother. You follow what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I think it's not fair to, as when you look at it, because I'm pretty sure if you could get a vision of what they had to go through and everything, and we don't even know them. You know what I'm saying? Just a matter of what 2 generations you're forgotten about and stuff like that. I look at it like that, and so so with my dad, he's gonna his legacy gonna live, for quite some time. You know why I can say that? Is because, for instance, I like giving stories. I went home to Louisiana, and my brother said, "Hey man, I wanted to go fishing, right?" So my brother said, "You know what, bro? I'm thinking just me and the boys. You know what I'm saying? Just me, him. Hey, he did some stuff my dad did with us when we was coming up. My dad take everybody fishing. He wake up 5 in the morning. He have us load the truck. He have his sisters. He have his mama. He have my mother's mother. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't even together. And we all going to buy yourself. I mean, about 3 cars with food, coolers, everything, and we were fishing. So when I get home, I get to Louisiana. I'm thinking it's just gonna be, he done did the same exact thing my dad did, you know what I'm saying, when we were coming up. The entire his wife, the kids. I'm thinking, kids just, and but I told him, I said, man, CeeLo, I say, brother, see the stuff that you're doing? And the same thing I do here, even when I was with my military group. I say, man, the things that dad did, my father did, I say, bro, that's legacy. You follow what I'm saying? I said, that stuff that you're doing, right? So now when people say, man, where you get that from? And I had to let him know, bro, you did it exactly the same way Pops did it with us when he was young. You know what I'm saying? So to answer that question, I think leaving a legacy, you know what I'm saying, for children's children. I don't want to be forgotten at just my grandkids,
Right.
or my great grandkids. I want to do things. I'm implementing things with my kids that their kids gonna do, and you know what I'm saying, because we just leave it like that. But yes, definitely, I think leaving a legacy, and people don't think about that. They'll think about material things, which is definite. You know what I'm saying? In the Bible, say leave an inheritance for your children. But also, man, the lifestyle that you live, the things that you do,
Right.
the lives that you impact, is definitely a legacy that I want to leave for my kids. So.
Mhm.
That's
And
good.
I have one final question too. Just
Mhm.
one final question. I know for me, my parents separated at when I was young as well. And
Mhm.
my dad, God bless his soul, even though they separated when I was 4, my dad was always there. But not only that, my mom, even though they were not together, shoot, they fought and cursed each other out like you would not believe. But at the end of the day, my mom always said, that is your dad no matter what. If
Right.
it's his birthday, today's your daddy's birthday. Call him for his birthday. This is Father's Day. If you got to make a card, give a card to your dad, you know. And I try to do the same thing with my kids. My kids' dad and I are not together, but at the end of the day, I still install that in them. It's Father's Day. Call your dad. You know, it's whatever. Call your dad. So that's one thing that I try to let them know, that it doesn't matter what we've gone through as parents. At the
Absolutely.
end of the day, that's still your daddy, no matter what, no matter how
Mhm.
much want to change it, you can't. At the end of the day, the bottom line is that's your dad. So, what other advice would you give to young fathers that are coming up? Young fathers that are trying their best, or young fathers that, you know, have kids and starting out and want to, you know, go down that road. So just some final advice for dads out there, not just young ones, just any dads out there, just some final words for them.
Oh man. I think a lot of times, this is what I'm going to say. For the fathers out there, to me, I think you need to understand what you bring to the table. Um, understand that these kids out here need you. You know, um, your role is very vital. No matter how you feel about how your life has turned out, or how good you're doing or how bad you're doing, you get along with the mother or not, you have a role. Your role is so vital, what I'm saying, as a father. I mean, what greater acknowledgement our father can give us by giving us the same name we call him. You know what I'm saying? As father. And you got to understand that that role is very important. For example, forming identity is crucial in life. Forming identity to me is everything. Having that foundation. You being there, and you're showing your kids, how to respond to adversity when they see you. You're showing, if you open up the door, for your mother, even no matter how you feel about them, you got to take yourself out, take your emotions out, and start, what I'm saying, doing things. It's about the kids and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And I and
Yeah.
and that's the advice I really think, and God holds us responsible. So you can go back and forth with that woman all you want, your sister, your mama, your fiance, your wife, all you want, man. It's in the word. He holds a man responsible for all of those relationships. So I hate to say it, a lot of people don't know when a relationship fails, man, the responsibility is majority, on that man, because we know that a lot of the females, you guys come from a different cloth. A lot of you all are you just looking at and understanding that you're nurturing and supporters. You're coming from a whole different outlook.
Emotion. You're
Mhm.
coming from emotions.
So, that's why he holds a man responsible. Because, man, you're supposed to be able to think, think logically. You know what I'm saying? Women are emotional beings. We're guys, we're logical. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, we look at it, it don't make, that don't add up. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, it don't add up, but if it makes you feel good, that's how she's gonna like it. You understand what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
think for us fathers and young men and older men, um, definitely understanding the impact you have in these young men's lives, not just the women, not just the young men, but also the women. I'm at this school right here. I look at these young ladies making terrible decisions. When it comes to, I'm like, terrible decisions. I'm like, this dude is this, and I think that's because they don't have a model to choose from. They don't have somebody at home that's that's treating their mother, like this, or showing, opening the door. Oh, did she cook? Oh, you mad because she didn't cook? No, you go in there and cook it. You follow what I'm saying? And no, how. And I just think they need to see these things,
Yeah.
and understand that. And I think the first part in getting to that level is, taking the emotions out.
Right.
Right. Right.
Oh, this is just, I can't stop smiling. This is just warming my heart here. I don't want to end, but we have to.
I
Oh
know,
yes.
right?
Oh
This
I
has
man.
know.
been a blessing to have you here, sir. You are blessing some generations with this, what you have spoken today.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
thank y'all for having me too.
Thank
Oh,
you.
And
thank
hey, look,
you for
hey, hold on. Before we get up out of here, I definitely need to send a shout out to my father. My fleshly father,
Please do.
Mr. Edward Coleman Delaune, BKA Rabbit. I still don't even know why they
Yeah.
call my father Rabbit, but I'm gonna have to ask him that.
Let me say one thing, because I haven't known him as long as Stacy, but your father cooked me the best pot of beans I think I ever
Yeah,
had in life.
oh yes, that's the more. Hey, my brothers, we all know how to cook, but he taught. Man, pops, man, bro, man, I love you so much. I thank you for, man, just being there for us. Like sacrificing money, you know what I'm saying, for your presence to be there with us. And if we was in any sport, man, you was there. You was the coach, Even, my younger brothers that came through, man, you did the same thing. Even when you got older in age, you still was out there coaching the whole team and the other coaches didn't quit, showing us how to fish, how to hunt, how to survive, how to handle, he always taught us to, for just teaching us to build relationships. Man, that's so powerful. That's another podcast right there.
Yes.
But just the things that he taught us, and he's teaching us, man, to go out every day and build relationships. I think, and you all know it to this day, and I do that. I'm serious. He taught us that no matter how, if somebody, I done seen my dad, like people that like talked about him or whatever, he's like, hey son, let's go over there. We cutting our grass, let's go cut their grass. I'm like, what? These people just, it's like, I'm like, Dad, you serious? These people just did this, and this. Son, get over there and let's cut them people grass. I'm like,
Yeah.
but he always taught us to, to go out and build relationships. And I think that's what life is all about.
Yeah.
I think if you go out and make it a point to go out and build relationships every day in your life, the more you do that, I really think you're really setting yourself up for success.
Yeah.
So nowadays it's not about, what you know, it's really about
Who you know.
No, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you, my brother.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
thank y'all for
Yes.
thank y'all for having me. Get me out of my, out of my safe zone. This is
Yes.
new for me.
And I
So
want to wish you a happy Father's Day
Yes,
today as
happy
well.
Father's
And I, I'm gonna call you daddy, so
yes,
but
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I appreciate it. Hit him
yes,
up. Hit him up.
yes, but I wish that you a happy Father's Day. Enjoy your day and do whatever it is that's gonna make you happy on that day.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies, for having me. It was
Thank
great.
you for joining us today and sharing all that fatherly wisdom and knowledge.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm glad I could help. Hopefully,
All
one day
right.
somebody out there, definitely.
Okay, I'm sure it will.
All right, y'all have a good one.
You
Enjoy.
too.
All righty. Bye.
As usual.
Hey, that was awesome.
Our guests
That
just
was awesome.
never disappoint. They just
They
never
never
disappoint.
disappoint.
My
Yes,
heart is
that was
full for
good.
that one.
That is a good one. I like that. Presence instead of presence.
Presents. Yes, yes.
Presence instead of presence. That is awesome.
So I think we'll just take a minute to just wish all the fathers, not just those on our channel, but all the fathers, have a blessed Father's Day. I hope it's filled with joy and love. For those of you who have not had a chance to reach out to your dad in a while, maybe this is a good opportunity to do so and just, say thank you. No parent is perfect, but they do the best they can with what they have. Give them some grace, give them some love, and
and not only, I just want to say, not only to fathers, but there are people out there that have been fathers to others.
That's right. I know I have them.
Yes, the uncles, the stepfathers, the big brothers, everybody that has played a father role to somebody. Happy Father's Day to you.
Yes, the stepfathers, the bonus fathers, the fathers who took children on that were not theirs and didn't care,
Absolutely.
That's big.
That
and they
is
deserve it too. The uncles, all of it.
Yes. Yes. Awesome. Awesome.
All right.
My kids had a very, very special uncle as well. So yes, we want to send special shout outs to those as well.
Yes.
And all the ones that, if you like myself and also you, Catrice, if your fathers are not present, also just thankful. Be thankful for the impact that they've had on your life and others as well.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, we're going to call this one done. And as usual, we want to end by saying, not to just the fathers, but fathers, this one's for you. Take good care of yourselves.
Yes, and just like our guest shared, but make those impactful relationships. Have an impactful relationship with somebody.
And if you're a great dad, if you have an opportunity to go out there and expand your horizon to some children out there that don't have,
spread the love.
Spread it.
Spread the love. All right, fathers, we love y'all. Happy Father's Day, and we are out.
All right. Peace.
Thanks for watching Coffee and Gumbo. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Come back soon for more hot, spicy, and flavorful conversation.